Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Team Chats with RionFx. It's glad to have each and everyone to start of a new week. Okay, as always, we we always pray to have a great week, right? But in as much as there's faith without works makes it dead. So the need for us to also put in the work is there as well. Usually we start out with, you know, a quick reflection of how past week was. We want to hear from each and everyone how trading has been. And the reason to this is to kind of like know, what was a bit off balance. And for those who probably have reflected during the weekend, can actually, come to a realization that, okay, this is why I messed up, and we can sort of put words together to make that work. You know. So let's do it as we always do. So is there anyone who would want to share how last week was for them? Probably, mistakes they made, opportunities they felt they could have harnessed better, psychologically, were there any challenges you faced? Do you think anything was wrong with your form in trading last week? Okay, Martins, please, you could answer, you can talk. Go for it. You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay. Good morning.
good morning.
With the question you asked pertaining how last week's trading was and the mistakes. Okay. I'd like to share mine because as I recording, or I say journaling my emotions during my weekly trading. Okay, I have a 50K prop account. Okay, it went on a just minimal drawdown, like 0.5% of the account, like $200 down. So entering the week, I was like, I will come up 1% or from in this account. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was already up 2% on it. But entering Thursday again, I went down to draw down again. So I don't know. To me, I felt like I was not a good risk manager at that moment on that Thursday and Friday, because it's somehow for you to give out all your profits and go into drawdown in just 2 trading days, something that you have accumulated in the 2 trading days. So that was how everything felt. I recorded my emotion that maybe one of the things that made me went down to that drawdown was I took a less probability trade, because entering the week I told myself I would just take only high probability trades and minimal percentage risk. So I already had the winnings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you be feeling like setups are coming and you are inevitable. Nothing market cannot get you at the moment. Those kind of a thing. On Thursday, I saw it, and okay, they said everything was like I wanted to make it a sniper, that kind of a thing. So I took the trade. From there, it stressed my accounts, my stop loss. It started my stop loss a lot. So from there, I went down to draw down this immediately. So that was how my last week trading was. I recorded the feeling and try not to make the same mistake again this week.
Okay, that's a good observation. The fact that you were able to look into it and actually do something about it. But another thing I kind of like used from what you said is there's this thing that happened. Yes, overconfidence is part of it. Okay, overconfidence is definitely part of it. But another thing that I know for sure um could have been a problem in terms of what happened last week to you was there's this thing when you make money and something at the back of your mind just tells you, okay, you have more money now, so you can take more risks to make more money. And it happens to the best of us. And there's one thing that sometimes we need to kind of like, try to curtail, we need to put like a hold on it. Because you can see you made profits Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then lost it Thursday, Friday. So one thing you can do, I do myself, is when I'm in profit, or I've made profit for a while, if I'm in a very good state of mind, which is one thing that most people don't see, you can't always have it, your way. That's just the truth. You can't always have it your way. There are times where you're not just in that right frame mentally, and all these little things would happen. So the one way I know that you can battle that is you you remind yourself when you're in profit that, okay, see, I've made enough profit, but it's time for me to slow down. And then you double down on your risk to manage your profits. Saying as much as people say you manage your capital, you also need to learn to manage your profits. If you've made, let's say your target is about 2,000 in a week, okay, let's say that's about 3%. You want to make 3% this week. If you've made about 2%, okay, making 1% wouldn't be as tough any longer. But one thing that distincts you from other traders would be your understanding to now know that, okay, look, I've made 2%. My target was to make 3%. If I could just reduce my risk and just look for probably target a trade with a higher profit probability, or I continue to use the same risk system that I've been using. But what most people want to do is, oh, I have 2% on ground already. Instead of risking my normal 0.25% or 0.3% that I've been risking, and since I already have 2.5%, let me risk 0.75%, or let me risk 0.5% so that I can quickly make 1% on a short trade. And then what happens is you go in and then you lose that 0.5%. Now, what happens to you mentally is you start to blame yourself, and then you get angry that, oh, if only I had just, stopped what I was supposed to do, I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done this. Then this happens. You then want to go back into the market to make back the 0.5% that you just lost. And that's where the problem comes in. Your psyche and emotions have already been wavered with. So automatically, what's going to happen to you is you would not have the same level of concentration and the same amount of zeal and competence you had that you've used to take other trades. It's no longer going to be there. Something has dented your confidence now. So even your confidence in yourself would also be low and everything. And then you want to go back to go and make what you just lost, because initially you shouldn't have lost that. So when that happens, that's where the whole problem starts out from. Now, this is from my own personal experience, and I've seen it happen countless times without number, to me as a person, not just to people, but to me. So that's one way you can curtail it, by just understanding that you've made so much already. You don't have to make everything. Even if your target is, especially sometimes people that have targets, this is me and my friend used to say, when you give yourself targets and you can't meet those targets, it puts you under pressure to want to get to that target. So it's a different thing entirely for you to understand that I have a target, but even if I'm not able to get to that target, it's fine. That acceptance is very hard. I'm never going to lie to any one of us. I'm in a phase of my life right now where acceptance is one thing I'm dealing with. I understand it. I know these things. I'm talking personally, not just trading. But to accept it is hard. So acceptance is hard. But when we can finally clinch that reality and accept that, okay, look, I've lost this money, it's good, it's done, let me just go. Or I've made 2 point something percent, it's fine. I've done more than okay. I can hold on to this and, probably just risk normal. And whatever comes after that is good. So you see, once that rule and discipline is in place and you eventually stick to it, you notice you're not as bothered as when you go out of your rule. For me, every time I've ever had a bad trading experience was when I decided to go outside what I have said I would do. So there was this thing that happened, I think, two calls back, two tea and chats back. I think that was in episode 3, where I kept mentioning no confirmation, no entry. No confirmation, no entry. I said it all through the call. Now, what I did using that call was sort of program my head. And funny enough was that week, I didn't take more than 2 trades because every other trade I wanted to take didn't give me a confirmation. So when I come back and I look at my chart or I pick up my phone and I'm like, let me check what's happening. What I tell myself again is no confirmation, no entry, because I'm also trying to build the discipline to do or to take my own advice, which is a very hard thing sometimes. People don't take their advice, you get. So you can tell yourself, you can program your mind in that way that once you're up a certain percentage, you lower your risk or you make sure that you're not biting your fingers too hard to a point where you lose your profits and get into your main capital. Okay. It can happen sometimes, and that's fine. But what makes a mistake is it shouldn't repeat itself always, because if it repeats itself always, then it has done what it has then become a habit, and we don't want to make failing a habit. So I hope that helps you, Martins. Martins, you're muted, just in case you want to say something.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was trying to greet you for what you said. I got every point you made. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you
Can
very much.
continue with it.
Thank you very much for sharing. So anybody on the call wants to share? I can see my mentor and best friend, but she's going to always deny that she's not my mentor. Hi, Joanna.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Sorry, I came in a bit late. I wanted to fix some things, but yeah, just quickly, last week was all right. As you probably seen on my own channel, I've just wrote that it was a bit hectic. I was focusing a lot on gold. And yeah, but it ended. It was a bit stressful, I think, because I was following up with this pair so much, this asset so much. So I don't know. Like this week, I'm trying to take it a bit easier. It was quite hectic. Like I was constantly like keeping up with gold. I took one gold swing trade. Apparently, like from Monday to like Wednesday or something. Then I exited. So yeah, but it was all right.
That's good. I know it was all right. I saw you doing some shopping, so I knew it was all right. So guys, today is going to be much better, much different. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I changed the color of my chart. It used to be green and black, but what happened wasn't I didn't really change the color. I just moved to another trading view account of mine where I don't have so much, I call it grammar. Okay, I don't have all those let me put out this line so you see. So in my old trading view, you see I have like 4-hour liquidity, 1 hour, higher time frame days. This is just like very basic. So my reason to this is my own reason. It doesn't have to apply to anyone on the call. Is I'm noticing there's a return to the market with a certain level of simplicity. Now that's for me, maybe because I came into the year with a higher time frame, view and version of myself. So I can see the market being stable on certain level of simplicity. It's like for me, resistance are holding, supports are holding. Um, Other blocks are doing very much pretty well. I've not seen any serious manipulations on other blocks and stuff like that. And basically, I think last year, if anybody was with me last year, I think Oluwatosin is on this one, is my student. I probably should have shown him what my trading plan looks like. It's very simple. It's nothing. It's as easy as you can think of it. It's just basic structure, market direction, liquidity, and let me see if I can even pull that, if I can pull that up on my screen quickly and show it to us. It's even on one of my, it's on one of my, one of my, okay. So if you can see my screen now. So it's just structure, order flow, patterns, price action, risk reward. And I also try to implement liquidity a lot because with liquidity, you kind of have an idea of what the order flow is. Because if you understand what order flow is, you know where, liquidity are and where the market is actually trying to target prices at. Patterns work very much well. I'm someone that believes in patterns, but you just need to understand how to trade them. The price action is very simple as well. Your candlesticks, are we aggressively bullish? Are we bearish? What's the momentum of the candlestick saying? As support and resistance holding, things like that. So I try to keep it very simple. So this year I want to keep it that way and keep it as simple as possible as I can. Okay, so this is GU, and we are still going to be looking at GU because we've been looking at GU since like the beginning of the year. We had this area of GU, and prices kept respecting it. And if we were to look at this area very well, it's only fair for us to call it an area of support. Okay, this is me talking like a very, very simple forex trader. And then we had this level, this order block, and we waited for so long, for like almost 3 weeks, if not 4, for prices to finally come into this level, and then started buying. So now we're looking for prices to kind of like fill up this imbalance that pushed prices into this area before we kind of have like an idea of what the market wants to do next. I mapped out these areas of liquidity earlier on this morning, and prices seem to have kind of like wicked it because these were like the highs of last week, Friday. This was like, yeah, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have Thursday as well, and then we have Friday of last week as well. So these were like these like major highs with a lot of stops above it, and prices have finally swept it. So I'm expecting prices to kind of like pull back into discounted levels for we to get entries to keep longing the market. Okay, so pull this out here. I'm looking for prices to kind of like come into discounted levels. We have this area here of demand at this area here. But I want to kind of like see how valid enough it is. Okay, yeah, I think I marked it out here. So this lower one is gone, but we have one here that wasn't mitigated. So it's also like a valid point for us to kind of like find entries. We want to see this level as some sort of liquidity area that was kept here, like an inducement. Okay. And then I'm looking for prices to pull back into this area, honestly, it's discounted area between this 50%, 61.8%, or we come as low as the 79, 78% to this other block here. So I'm going to be making long entries on this here. I would have taken this sales on GBP USD very early, because that would have been a sweep entry kind of liquidate and flow entry. But I didn't take it because I was already on GBP JPY sales and USD JPY sales. So I'm trying to keep it simple, okay? But if you know how to use smaller time frames to scale into trades, this is a good sell opportunity for you. But most times I usually would not advise people to what do you call it, to take counter trades. But if you're good and you know you're good at what you do, and you want to take counter trades, this is an opportunity for you to take counter trades. You can see like a smaller time frame structure here, prices broken structure above here, prices break below here. We have like a semi change of character here. Want to see prices kind of like pull back up again, then make an entry and target this close, which is fair enough. Honestly, it's like a very good 50 pips move downside before we try to like target higher positions, okay, for the buys. So short term, I'm expecting to see a weaker pound, and then long term, I'm expecting to see a stronger pound and a weaker dollar. In respect to our DXY, like we analyzed last week as well. So let's look at DXY. This was actually a very clean sweep. This is very good. So let's look at the XY, the X, the Y of the dollar. Okay, so for weird reasons, this dollar just became, okay, but standing on this level here, which I am still expecting prices to break below. Okay, we might see prices. This is the 4-hour. Switch to the 1-hour. We might see prices try to pull a quick one into this void, which is doing this was the void market close to this level before we start to see prices start coming back down, or we get prices to come and take out these highs from last week, okay, and then into some sort of supply area this weekend, right? Then we get prices push here down, or we get prices push into the down. Okay, so these are like our basic outputs for the XY, and that is going to necessitate how other peers would run, basically. Be it the pounds base USD or the quote USD. So this is going to be like the determinant for it. I'm just looking for prices to kind of like put into discounted region as well. Just around 50% of this imbalance is going to be like our first major take profits on all pound USD. I saw on all pound USD, on all base or quote USD, sorry. Okay. So yeah, this is my sales on GBP. I couldn't call this. I should have sent it out last week, but I was like, it's already the weekend. I didn't expect it to move this fast. So I want to analyze this actually, because you can see there's no major analysis, but it's a carryover analysis from previous weeks, if you remember, where we had these sales that were happening, at this level, no? And I said I wasn't going to be completely sure about the sales because I felt like prices would still want to buy. And I'm still of the idea that we actually see bullish momentums on the base JPYs because I feel like the JPY isn't decisive yet on its direction and its strength overall. So we probably would still have like shaky JPYs, but these are like mid-term trades. And if we look deeper into the weekly charts on GBP JPY, we'd see that there's an existing supply that has been valid since 2015, and prices hasn't really been here since the last time prices was here in 2015, on the 24th of August in 2015. And it's valid because this area was the area of liquidity that was left for this supply, and prices never came back to it. Now, if you consider this area here as liquidity left behind to validate this supply, you see that it's the present area of interest for everybody. And everybody is still, into the whole idea of this supposed to be like a double top reversal kind of thing, which is valid, honestly, in terms of looking at long-term key levels. This is a valid area. But the fact that it serves as a liquidity holding to validate the supply and has been tested before, and prices couldn't really make a serious U-turn, stands to tell us that what the bulls are crazily in the market, So we probably will get like short-term moves back down, just to kind of like trap, more sellers around that level to make that area more juicy. Probably there's not enough liquidity around that level to kind of what should I use to kind of activate or fuel prices to that supply, to fulfill it. So they need to kind of like attract more money in that zone. So I think that's what they're going to do for like maybe couple of days or couple of weeks even, and then before they will pump prices aggressively into that supply. So in terms of really looking at major swing level for GBP JPY, I think this is one level we can't ignore, and we should seek to consider ourselves. If we're going to be looking for anything long term, this is one level we should be looking at. We probably could even be seeing like maybe 1,000 pips move from that level eventually. So what we want to do here is we want to wait, okay, and see how these cells play off. And eventually, when prices breaks above here, it gives us a good break. We'll also take the buys into that level. Every opportunity is an opportunity, and then we'll finally take buys into this level as well. So we continue the buys to get into this level, and then we start to anticipate sell structures and momentum in the market. I don't know if that makes sense to us. So this is like me kind of giving us a sense. Anyone has anything they want to add? Martin, Jesse, Joanna, anybody present? Okay, so let's go further into the next pair. We have a CAD CHF. So if you follow the analysis I sent out last week, CAD CHF has finally hit take profit, according to signal, and we made entries in the 4-hourly time frame. We made those entries from here. Made those entries from here. And our take profit was at 65200. So yeah, prices actually they hit our take profits. So you can say that was a good trade overall. But now the next thing is what's next for CAD-CHF. Okay, and if you look at CAD-CHF overall, you see that this was kind of like the last significant low before this one that was created, meaning that this should be our area of significant high. And prices just kind of swept the liquidity above that level. And then now we are looking what's next for the CAD CHF. And regarding that question, we would consider this so far that we've been seeing, bullish momentum to the upside. So we had this low, this high, this low. We just created a new high. So there's a need for us to create what new lows to respect the structural flow of series of higher lows. So we want to get prices into an area of demand. Okay, which I can see here was like a valid order block before the break of structure to this point here. And we also have another one just below it here, but this one seems to have been mitigated. Okay, because you see prices kind of like tapped into it twice. So that seems to be has been mitigated. And then maybe we should be able to consider this one as well. But most importantly, like I always teach my students, one way I validate my order blocks apart from the presence of a resistance is, I say resistance, presence of a liquidity hub or pool before it is I want to find out where exactly is my order block. So for me, an order block is not valid. It's not in a discounted region, or a premium region. Yeah, and we can see that both of them are in discount region. So for me, I go further to tell myself, any smart investor or anybody who is a smart buyer isn't just going to go for the least discount. It's going to go for the best discount. So if you're offering me something at a 10% discount and someone is offering me the same thing at a 25% discount, I'm definitely going to go for the one at a 25% discount. If possible, I would also want to even beat the price lower, to get more discount. So I always would go for like the one in a more discounted area. Doesn't mean that this will hold. So you can play it. You can play smart. You can take like very, very tight stop losses here. Because honestly, if this is going to hold, or you can double down on your risk. So if you're risking 0.5% normally, in this situation, you can put 0.25%. And if prices start to show or give like a smaller time frame, proper character changing into a bullish drive, what you do is you just change your gear and enter the drive as well. And then maybe you can double in another position. Okay, so this is that for CDCHF. But I don't think I want to play around the sells. Basically, I want to wait for the buys more. The CDCHF can be a very range pair. And you don't want to get frustrated with prices constantly trying to target your SL. So we also have US 30, honestly. This pair looks scary to me. Not because of anything in particular, but it seems too bullish, and at the same time, it seems like, I'm ready to be bearish kind of thing. Because it's like in an all-time high, and I'm like, don't you want to calm down? Don't you want to see what life has for you below here, these areas? And then every time I try to sell, it's buying. So I'm like, oh, okay, big boy. Let me let you slide. But if we can start to see like higher time frame change of character, of this bullish character, that would be good enough confirmation to kind of like have short positions. But so far so good. It's very, very bullish. It's extremely bullish, and there's a whole lot of, I don't know what to call them any longer, because it's even doing its best not to leave like imbalances. So it's like creating small cells at every point in time. Okay, there were sellers, kind of thing. this candle is convincing enough, but why I'm not paying attention to it is there isn't really like have been like a static level at this area where we can say for a fact that this level is an area of resistance. So we need to see this area play the role of a resistance again. So 1, 2, let's add here as kind of like 3. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. Okay. So we have 1, 2. Okay. But what's next? We need to see momentum from the bears, and we need them to kind of like distort the bullish character a bit. So let's look. Okay, so we have 1-hour bullish structure. Okay, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3. Let's refer to this as 4. Okay, because it kind of like took prices up and kind of like swept the sellers this level. So let's see if we can get prices to actually invalidate this level. 1, first requirement, we need to see prices invalidate this level. 2, we want to see prices come back in to a level of supply. I would mark this area out here, and I'll tell why. Why? Because I see what is happening around there. There's like the highs of last week, and then some sort of consolidation around the opening of the market. So we want to kind of like identify this area here as a possible area of where monies were kept from last week. People who tried to re-enter the trade from last week, we all have their monies there. Okay. So I want to see that prices pulls in, take this out, come here, breaks here, then kind of like pull in us. Or I would look to see that prices takes this lows out, the lows of last, okay, Thursday and Friday lows, then goes back up in to kind of like induce the buyers this time around into this level, and then drop them. Okay, so like this is my own outlook on US 30 midterm, nothing too long, just midterm. In fact, short term if possible, because it looks like there are too many investors, just kind of like buying and pumping everything on the US 30 and NASDAQ. So it's a bit scary, and I don't want to dabble too much in it. A little profit made is better than nothing made. Okay, so let's learn contentment along the way as well. Okay, and then what other pair do we have? Let's see. NASDAQ. You can see NASDAQ isn't even giving any sort of bearish sentiment whatsoever. That's also kind of like something to be worried about. So you have to be very much careful if you want to actually play with US 30. Okay, for GBP USD, I mentioned this already. Sorry guys, I'm yawning on the call. I didn't sleep early yesterday. I had like a very short sleep. I've been up since 4:30 my time. So it's been one hell of a night. I slept by like past 12. Nigeria lost. In fact, they didn't lose. They played nonsense. It wasn't like they played well and then they were defeated. They played nonsense. They played absolute nonsense. So basically these are like the few charts I have in place for now. And then if there's any pair you want us to look at, these are like the few pairs I'm trading. Okay, let me show us USD JPY. So USD JPY, similarly, like the GBP JPY, I expect to see it sell off a bit to somewhere around this level. And if it wants to go further, it probably will kind of like come back into this area of imbalance. And now one of my confluences for USD JPY is the DXY. You can see that the dollar needs to kind of like short itself down a bit to pull back into that area of imbalance where I explained earlier on. So that's like one of my major sentiments for USD JPY as well. Then another thing I'm looking at USD JPY is, like I said, we are in a supply kind of region, and we've seen prices test that place severally and has failed to kind of cross that level here, this area here. Prices have tested that level severally. So there needs to be like a rundown a bit before we go higher, just the same way as GBP JPY. And I think for USD JPY, you can see it clearly, on the lower time frame, that there's still places to go above. Okay, and on the weekly as well, USD JPY, you'd see this area here. You see this area is still valid here on it as well. But this one is prices have kind of gone there, but not really, because when you kind of like scale to like a lower time frame, you'd see its own areas. It still has like valid areas above, okay, to come to. You have this level here. So if you kind of like plot your break of structure or your change of pattern that happened before this bearish structure to the downside, you see that there was an area of supply that was left for it as well, which is around this area here. So we're still going to get to see prices coming to this area as well. And if you do the pips calculation and margin balance, you find out that it's almost the same pricing as that of the GBP JPY as well. So that's that for my analysis for the week. Keeping them very simple, no stress. So any questions, guys? Any questions? Anything you feel like we need to take a look at? Because I feel like I probably will have to get more sleep very soon. Joanna, anything for us on the fundamental side?
On the fundamentals, I haven't really looked at. You mean like for US dollar?
Yeah.
So, well, not really. No, like the only thing I'm viewing the same thing as you. Actually, I'm just watching DXY. It's just like if you go to like the 4 hour, I'm just watching technically like how it's just ranging between those levels since like last week. Fundamentally, on Thursday, I believe who came out with it? It was let me double check. Okay, so it was a CTFX Bank from the bank report they released. Just mentioned that we might see, I believe it's the beginning of this week, that we might see a decline on dollar pairs, meaning that the dollar might drop soon, sooner than expected. Because it has given us a push for a long time now. Like, obviously, right now, there's a lot of investors putting their money into like pairs such as gold, JPY, and things like that. But guys, I'm so sorry for the background if you guys can hear that. But overall, there is it's used as an hedge right now. So gold as well as dollar and other stock assets are used as hedge, meaning that while they are buying one asset, they're selling another one because of the uncertainty in the market. So yeah, just like I'm just hoping to see something happening with this DXY. Honestly, if it breaks upwards or break downwards, overall I'm expecting it to break downwards though. That's like what I'm taking from what they're writing.
Yeah, I hope it actually does break downwards because but the problem here is, when there's speculation in the market and everybody kind of like has an idea or a belief of where the market is going to. There's this thing they always do where they just want to kind of like intentionally slow down the process so that they can, force people out of the market before they do their thing. So this times we say the patient ones, survive. So let's hope and see what the market is going to do for the week. And I think with just this few analysis, the most important thing is that we make money off them. I'll be sending the analysis to the group as always, guys. And if I find more and I'm able to make more, but I'm able to look at more markets, I would definitely send them as well. But until then, let's make do with what we have. And it's a good thing for those who join the call every Monday. You kind of have like a better stance in terms of when I send the analysis because you kind of like have heard like a description of what I'm expecting, so you have an idea of when to stay in the trade, when not to stay in the trade. And that's why I feel like it's needed for we to kind of like engage other people in the community to actually join this call every Monday. So they have an idea of how whoever is providing this analysis or signal thinks about the market, and that would help them as well. I think that was the one thing I learned earlier on in my journey, that there's a need for you to kind of understand the kind of trader you are you're following or you're paying attention to. I think that's why a lot of people think some traders are scams, or they don't know how to trade, or they don't know how to call signals because they really don't know the kind of traders they are. So please, if we can indulge more conversations in the community and kind of encourage people to come for these sessions, that would be awesome as well, and it would also help them. But like you said, you sometimes can't force the camel to the river bank to drink the water. You have to let it go by itself when it's thirsty. So in as much as that is, but we still have to do our best to invite them. So until I send the analysis out to the group and I call the signals when they are in line. I want to say thank you again for joining TN Chats with RionFx. And it's always an amazing time, to have you guys on the call, to actually view the chats. It helps me start my week strong, helps me start my week optimistic. It gives me a purpose every Monday morning to wake up to this. And please don't stop joining. Please don't stop, sharing the good news. And thank you guys very, very much. So until next time, I wish all of us a great trading week ahead. And we'll always do that, in between the week session, kind of like a live session. So we'll just kind of like view our opportunities in the market as well. So see you guys next week, Monday. Stay safe, protect your risk, protect your capital. That's what I mean by risk. Assess every trade you want to enter. Be comfortable with the trades you want to enter, even though it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, but be comfortable with losing wherever it's there that could be lost. Like I used to say, a dead man isn't scared of death. So the whole essence of a stop loss is to prepare or tell you that this is your death, so you shouldn't be scared of death any longer. And yes, we're going to be having therapy room on Wednesday this week. I couldn't have therapy room last week Wednesday because I had like a need journey, so I knew I would be too stressed to do anything. We're going to be having therapy room this Wednesday, and don't forget to invite your friends. Twitter space, I would always drop the flyer and the link for the Twitter space in the group as well. So see you guys on Wednesday, and stay blessed, stay refreshed, stay profitable, and stay calm. Bye, guys.